Hey there, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to this special segment of A Word with the World. It's definitely, we're doing something different today. For our first time, we're actually conducting this interview through a virtual setting. So I'm pretty ecstatic about it. Um, so I want to introduce a very special guest to our segment in clinical psychology. She's also a consultant, school teacher, and also the founder of Greatest Counseling and Consulting LLC. I want to welcome you to A Word with the World, to our audience, Dr. Catherine Walls. How are you doing today, Miss Walls?
Great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And hello, everybody.
Oh, we definitely appreciate you being on the show. It's definitely a privilege. Um, you definitely have a plethora of accomplishments under your belt. It's always great to collaborate with someone who is definitely accomplished. You definitely make the most out of your life
Mm-hmm.
and obtain the goals and set out the goals for yourself.
Yes.
And it's just refreshing to be, to sit down and talk with somebody who's creative, who has a creative mind and has that
Mm-hmm.
ambition to go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and pursue their goals.
Yeah. Thank you. It's so funny. I'm actually working on another book now called The Goal Getter because I have
Okay.
accomplished so many goals, right? I'm like, what is one thing that I
Yes.
know that I've done in my life and done well and continue to do? And that is set and accomplished goals. So, look, I just break them off. It's like, come on, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, it sounds. I mean, you can never have enough goals.
That's
You
right.
wish you had more time, but
Exactly.
just to have that many goals set out for yourself, you can never have too much. It
Yeah.
always keeps you on your toes, keeps you moving.
Yeah. You know what it was?
So, Miss
When I was,
Wills, how about we just start
yeah.
with something?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Go
go ahead,
ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay. No, I was just going to say
No,
what
I
it
was
was
just.
when I was in school. I remember being in class, and one time they were talking about when people get to the end of their life, they think about all of the things they wish they had done. And my thing was, well, let's take a
Oh,
moment and
okay.
think
Yeah.
about all of the things that we want to do. And now let's start creating some goals so that at the end of life, we're not saying, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Instead, we're saying, I did,
Mm,
right? And we have
yeah,
those memories that
that's a good
we're,
way of looking at it.
right? We have these memories that we're relishing in and we're smiling about and we're sharing our life stories. And it was like in that moment, and then there was one other moment, and I was watching, I'm going to show my age a little bit. I was watching Eddie Murphy on the Arsenio Hall show way back in the day. And he had said one day he was going to do this, and one day he was going to do that. And he said one day it dawned on him, what day is he actually waiting for? Like, is the sky going to open up and say, this is one day? He was like, today has to be the day that I start living and doing all the things that I want to do. And that really had a profound impact
Wow.
on me. Yeah. And so you take
Okay.
that
Yeah.
and then you add that with that other piece. At the end of the life, I'm trying to sit, and if they say my life flashes before my eyes, I'm going to have me a good time watching the replay on this one. So,
That's a great way of looking at it. I never looked at it that way. Um, but definitely it's all about making memories to look back on. It's always good to see how someone's journey, to look back
hmm,
on it from where you came from to where you are now and just
yeah.
see the growth in you.
Yes,
I think sometimes people don't get to appreciate the growth within themselves, that you came a long way.
I agree.
And as long as you decide to keep moving forward, you know,
Hmm.
and not backtrack,
Yes,
um, that's obviously the ultimate goal.
exactly.
So let's get into it a little bit, Miss Walls. We want to kind of pick your brain a little bit,
Hmm.
get your perspective on different things, being that you are an entrepreneur and a author.
Hmm.
So To me, the beauty of life stems from how individuals can express themselves in more than one way or method. And from
Mm-hmm.
here, they can give enlightenment to others. So,
Mm-hmm.
could you share with the audience your process on how you developed your artistry and
Mm-hmm.
what inspired you to become an author?
Oh boy. So I will have to say in 2006, I was actually doing work post Katrina in New Orleans. And I was talking with someone, and they said to
Mm-hmm.
me, "When are you going to write your book?" And I'm thinking, like, I don't have a book to write. I'm not thinking about writing a book. And then he said to me, "You need to understand that you have an audience just for you." And that statement stuck with me. And then in 2009, when I went on a personal retreat because I just needed to get away, I was so overwhelmed. My parents had had a lot of health issues. I was figuring out this entrepreneur thing. I had had some bad business dealings that hurt my feelings, and I just was really questioning. And so I said, I got to get away. And I wanted to go somewhere where I didn't speak the language so nobody would ask me anything. And so I went to Brazil, and I went to Brazil for a week.
Wow.
And while I was there, I woke up one morning and I clearly heard that internal voice say, "It's time to write." And that day I sat on the
Mm.
balcony and I wrote my first book, The Greatest Soul Journey. So it was divine inspiration, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. Um, it's just neat talking to different people, no matter what genre of art that you get into. It's just the neat to hear that different perspectives on how people decide to get into their art form,
Mm-hmm.
and that's amazing. That basically you had this divine calling to tell
Mm-hmm.
you to write
Yeah.
or to push
Yeah.
you and motivate you to write.
Yes.
Um, I think it's amazing,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
unique because I haven't came across anyone that had that kind of revelation come to them in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely neat.
Yeah.
So let's get into your book since you just mentioned it, The Greatest Soul Journey. And I love the premise of your book. It speaks on how a person can realign their thinking to
Yes.
gain a better perspective of themselves through their life's journey. And
Mm-hmm.
then the premise for your next book, which is Led by the Spirit, Volume 1,
Yes.
provides examples through your personal experiences of
Mm-hmm.
how others can build a better bond with the Spirit through their spiritual journey.
Yes.
So the first question will be, how was this concept conceived? And can you explain to the viewers what is meant when you speak of the Spirit?
Okay. So when I speak of spirit, I'm talking about something greater than myself. Right? I can only see certain things. I
Okay.
can only know certain things. But you know how sometimes you get this, I call them divine downloads or divine knowing or insight. And somebody's like, "How did you know that?" And it's like, it just came to me. I just knew. Right? I have no history
Yeah.
of studying this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. I wasn't, right? It was so far ahead of me or around the corner that there was no way that I physically could know that. So therefore, it has to be something greater than myself that is informing me of this. And that's what I refer to as spirit. Okay. So now in the greatest,
Okay. Definitely.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay. No, no, no.
No,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to in the greatest soul journey, which is the first book, the greatest stands for God restores excellence, activates talents, encourages spiritual transformation. And for
Mm.
me, in the
Wow.
work that I do with people as a therapist, as well as just in my everyday conversations, there are a lot of people who believe in God and they live their life according to their beliefs. And so we got to get clear on what are our beliefs because our beliefs are going to guide our everyday
Mm.
actions. They're going to guide our relationships. They're going to guide the work that we do, right? It
Mm,
has such an impact on our everyday behaviors. But if we're not in alignment with our beliefs, then we can be experiencing a conflict, and our emotions can be in one place, our thoughts can be in another place, and our body can be somewhere else. And so we have to get in alignment so that we're
mm,
living our life on purpose, in purpose, and with purpose. And so that's what the greatest soul journey does. It gets you back in alignment with what do you honestly believe? And then from that, let's move into our gifts and our talents. What are we using? Right? You talked about creativity. What creativity do we have? And are we using it or are we hiding it? Right? Are we singing and dancing like we're supposed to? Are we doing art like we're supposed to, drawing, painting? Are we making cakes and cookies? Or are we hiding it and keeping these things to ourselves, right? Because we're too scared of what somebody else is going to say, that we're nervous about judgment. And I've been there, I get it, okay?
mm,
However, the more
mm,
times that we use our gifts and our talents, the stronger they get, number one. Number two, many times after we use one, there's something else in the bag that we didn't even know was there. But because we never use that first talent up top, we don't even get a chance to see all the other talents that lie underneath
mm.
it. And then the last thing is, well, it's not the last, but it's where I've
Very
gotten
good
so
point.
far, is that our talents really are gifts to other people. Can you imagine if Michael Jackson just sat and never sang or danced or anything? Like, how much joy did this man give performing? And we're not going to go into personal stuff. We're talking about performing, right? So, how much joy
Mhm.
did that give people? The moonwalk, we wouldn't even have these things if he didn't use those talents that he had. And then how many other people are inspired by him? Chris Brown, Usher, Neo, and countless other people, all because of this one person. And we can even take it back. If Michael Jackson wouldn't even have existed, if James Brown hadn't have done what he did to inspire him. So we also inspire people when we use our gifts and talents. And so this is why the greatest soul journey is also encouraging you to literally live your greatest life so that you are utilizing that which has been put inside of you.
That's great. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. In mind, that's my way of encouraging other people is kind of in the same mind frame of if you have a talent, you have a particular skill set or ability, you owe it to yourself to pursue it. You know, you shouldn't keep it
Exactly.
in. You'd be surprised what your abilities or your skills can do that can actually help the people around you, kind of build your community better. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
could be surprised how powerful you are, even in just the subtle things that you do, or how you
Yeah.
apply yourself or conduct yourself in life. So, yeah, we definitely owe it to ourselves, man. If you have something within you, to go ahead and share it in one way, shape, or form.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
So definitely, Miss Walls, that was a great way of kind of great perspective on just how to look at life in general.
Thank you. Yes.
So with that being said, the logic of how our existence is similar to a journey, and that was the great thing about your books is how you're creating this visuals as far as like how our journey should go. What are the similarities and differences between a person's personal journey
Mm.
versus their spiritual journey?
That's such a great question. And so each person it is unique, right? So our personal journey, I equate with the physical. All right. So from a physical journey, we have to make sure that we're
Mm-hmm.
eating right, right? We have to make sure that we're utilizing our bodies in the best way that they can. We make sure that we're educating our mind, right? We're taking care of the physical aspect of us. But then there's this thing called the spiritual journey. And like I said, that's again, it goes with your beliefs now. There are some people that believe that the spirit lives on after the physical. There are some people that, they go to church, they make sure they pray. These are all potential opportunities to develop this spiritual mindset and well-being. And so people do that through reading scriptures. They do that through prayer and meditation. Some people do it through things like yoga, right? So they are ways in which you strengthen your resolve so that when you are dealing with life crises and circumstances, because there are just certain things that happen in life. And then there's those extra things, right? That drama and that trauma that can happen in life. And when the physical is not enough to make you feel better, many people rely on the spiritual, right? We end up with sayings like God doesn't give you any more than you can handle. I hand it over to God. Some people say Jesus take the wheel. Right? There's this release, there's this physical reality that I've done everything that I can do and now I turn it over to something greater. Peace though has to be strengthened just like the physical peace. So I don't go into the gym and lift a barbell and now think I'm gonna walk out with muscles like I can, be in a show. I have to go in over and over and over again, right? I got to build up my body. It's the same way with the
Uh,
peace, right? Because when life comes and does what life can do sometimes life hits you with some tidal waves, right? And it's like, I can't take it anymore. But when you've built your spiritual muscle, then you are able to withstand and not be broken. Now, you might waver, you might get shaken, you might get a little bump, but you're not going to fall over and pass out because you know that spiritually you're strong enough to withstand this temporary moment.
Very good. And also too, you were speaking about resolve. An important thing too is to kind of find that within yourself
Yes,
instead of trying to kind of emulate other people. Because the
yes,
way you find that kind of peace within yourself, it's going to be different from the next person.
that's
Their
right.
way and their perspective and how they want to go about their thing, it's going to be different from yours. So
A
again,
hundred
you owe it to
percent.
yourself to kind of find this journey, go through this journey and search within yourself
Yes.
to see what will bring you this lasting peace.
Yes. I'm so glad that you said that because in the
So,
greatest soul journey, it is about your personal journey. And a lot of times when people will do it, because it's a workbook style journal, so I give food for thought and then I ask a
mm,
series of questions for you to answer, right? And so a lot of times people are looking for a right answer and I say, I can't give you the answer. This is your life. This is your journey. This book is legit 100% about you, right?
yeah,
And so, and the same thing with Live by the
mm,
Spirit.
it
The
ain't
same
about
thing with,
me, it's you.
that's right. It's all about you. That's one of the few times in life where you can pick up a book and go, it's all about me,
uh,
right? And the same with Live by the Spirit.
mm,
I give
you can be a little
examples.
selfish now.
You could be, exactly, you got permission. But I give examples of insights that I've had. And then I want to know, what does it trigger in you? Because you may have had an insight that was similar. You may have had a life experience that was similar, but you hadn't looked at it that way. So now I'm just saying, here's a little food for thought. Chew on it, taste it, and then you put your own reality and spin on it. Because again, my goal is to help people live their greatest life. So I want you to live and learn. I want you to understand, what are the experiences that you've had in your life? How can you take those life lessons and then apply it to future life events so that you can move through those life events smoother?
Very good point. I'm glad. It's just nice to, you know, like point I'm really trying to make is like sometimes it's just hard to kind of discover that.
Yes,
I love how the outline of the book, it allows a person to just get started. You're
yes,
asking these self-reflective questions. Here, let's just start with just this, and then you can slowly start being honest with yourself. I think that's
Yep.
the problem with most people is that they can't get over the hump,
Come
you
on.
know, so they're so involved with themselves and so with the
Mm,
clutter in their mind that they can't kind of escape that and just
yes.
start with point A, and then you can move on to B, C, D, and onward. You don't have
Yes.
to actually solve everything in one notion.
That's
That's
right.
the beauty of life. It gives you time to redeem yourself. So, Miss Walls, I am definitely interested in getting into discussing your book series, The Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny. You kind of touch bases with it a little bit.
Hmm.
I find it unique that through these two characters, you was able to create fascinating stories that taught lessons that are essential for everyone and how
Hmm.
we ourselves can interact with the world through critical thinking, problem solving, coping, relationship skills, how to learn self awareness and self control.
Hmm.
So, how important was it for you to convey this message through this book series? And what motivated you to create such a concept?
Yeah, so actually, the book series started out as a poem. So for my business mentor and friend, instead of
Wow.
buying a birthday card, I actually wanted to do something different. And I said, oh, I'll write him a poem. And he always calls me Bunny because he says I have so
Mm.
much energy. And so his name is Thomas. And in the poem, I say, now I W Froggy T. So that's where Bunny and Froggy T came from. And as I kept reading the poem after I gave it
Mm.
to him, I was like, if you flesh this out, this would really make a great children's story. So that's what I did. I fleshed it out. And that's
Mm.
where the reunion came from. And the reunion consists mainly of everything that he said to me the first time he met me. And so when he's very dramatic and theatrical. So when he first met me, he's like, "Girl, where you been? I ain't seen you in 40,000 years." And I'm like, "Who is this man?" And so, and from that moment, we hit it off, and we've been working together ever since. But that's where the reunion came from. And then it was in the process. Now, mind you, I wrote this,
Wow.
and it took about 12 years for me to find an illustrator to do these pictures. And when they sent back this image right here, all of a sudden my mind opened up and I was like, what's in this water? What's behind these hills? And the creativity inside of me, it was like it just
Mm.
exploded. And from that, then I wrote the book Feeling Feelings. And then after that, while we were in studio, because I
Mm.
do voiceovers with each of the books, and while we were in studio,
Wow.
doing the voiceovers for the reunion, what the voice of Bunny made a joke and I couldn't get it out my head. And that night I went home and I wrote Bunny Gets Bullied because what she said was, she said, Bunny better have my money. And I started laughing, and so I was like, oh, I got to write a whole story around that. And so that's what I did. And so I wrote about Bunny and her first experience with being bullied by the Bully brothers. Get it? They're all bulls. So there's Bully Ray, Bully Tim, and baby Bully Jerome, who actually said, Bunny, you better run on home. And he's the one. And then they started singing. And that's when they started singing, Bunny better have my money. And so that's, it was like little bits of inspiration like that. And then I started thinking, um, because my mother kept saying, I would have beat that little one's behind. He wouldn't have been bullying me anymore. And I said, Mom, I said, it's easy to fight. It's harder to use self control and other skills. And she's like, yeah, 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 that's that therapist in you. That's that teacher in you. I say, yeah, but like, I need to teach the world self control. I need to teach the world anger management. And but I thought about it, right? When someone's bullying your friend or a family member, you do want to stand up for them. And I said, let me think about this. And so that's
Mm.
where Froggy Foo and Mungu came from. because in this story, it is about when Froggy T got that phone call from Bunny and she was so upset. And now we go on a trip down memory lane through his experience. And it turns out that Froggy T used to be bullied as well. And Froggy Foo becomes his alter ego. And so that took us on a whole other journey. But these are real, right? I was a former early childhood,
Mhm.
elementary, and middle school teacher. I've been a social skills consultant. I've been a doctor of clinical psychology now for goodness knows 19, 20 some years. Um, so we do have these different thoughts and feelings and life experiences. And I've just taken all of mine and bundled them up and put them in different stories like this. I have another one coming out in a couple months called Careless Clueless Colt, which is about a new kid in school. And he's not catching on to the behaviors and the culture of the school. And he just keeps basically fumbling friendships. And we've seen these things. We've been these people. We've been connected with these people. And so now it's looking at these life events and seeing how can we, one, help anyone that we know that's going through them navigate it. But for children who are going through it or young people who are going through it, give them some tools on how to manage it as well.
And that's great. I just love how you just took the most subtle thing as inspiration, and then you just morphed and elaborated on this story into
Hmm.
different types of perspectives. Because these
Yes,
books are not just meant for kids; like adults can enjoy this as well. I mean, these are things that we will work on to for the rest of our lives when it comes to
yes,
critical thinking, problem solving, just being aware of ourselves, our surroundings, the people, how we interact with the world, the people around us, learn
that's
how
right.
to, self control. It's a work in progress every day, even when you become an adult. So
Yes.
so I just love how you was able to create this world through these characters and create this
Hmm.
story and elaborate on it. And
Hmm. Thank you.
for all walks of life can appreciate this book.
Yes. And it's the truth.
Um,
It was
definitely
feeling
very
feelings.
impressed.
Thank you. It was feeling feelings when I let some of my beta readers read it. And they were like, "Did you write this book for me or for my kids? Because I swear you talking to me right now."
Mm,
And,
mm,
and I was like, real
mm,
talk. I wanted everybody to be able to get
mm.
something. The person reading it as well as the person listening to it. And when I've gone and done book reads at schools, it's so funny because the teachers many times at first are like, "Oh, good, somebody has the kids. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna mark my papers or do whatever I'm gonna do." And then they start listening to the story, and Zeus, next thing I know, they are pulling their chair up, and now they sitting in circle time with the kids, listening to.
Mm, mm, yeah.
Yes, yes,
Some
it's good.
some names.
That's
I think
exactly.
that's I think that's a great compliment as well when people tell you that. They're like, "Man, did you write this book specifically for me?"
Hmm.
I think that's like one of the best compliments an author can get.
It
Because
is.
obviously you
It
don't
is.
have a particular person in mind when you're writing your stories, but it's
No.
just so refreshing when somebody reads your work and they're just like it they can feel the words. Like
Yes,
it definitely resonates with them in some way, shape, or form.
that's right. Exactly. Exactly.
So I definitely resonated with them when I read the books. And also too, just the great visuals, the great illustrations to
Hmm.
coincide with the words and the messaging that you were trying to convey through your writing and through your
Yeah.
book.
Thank
It was
you.
outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, my
So,
illustration team is out of St. Lucia and they do an amazing job. I always give them a shout out because it's a collaborative process, right? I have an image in
okay,
my mind that I see,
definitely.
then I let them know, then they draw it out, and then I want to make sure that everything matches up, and so it is a fun
Just,
process. It, it is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of team building, and
Hmm.
just working in the confines of a team. You get everybody thoughts. You know,
Yes.
collaborative. It's just great energy, great positivity, just permeating in the environment, in the
Hmm.
atmosphere. So, Miss Walls, let's branch out from the world of literature, from you being an
Yes.
author, and go to the other half of you being a entrepreneur. So,
Hmm.
could you share with the audience how you created and developed your business, Greatest Counseling and Consulting?
Okay, so I am what I refer to as a multipreneur because I actually have several businesses. So the greatest counseling and
Okay.
consulting really was my second business. My first business was as a tutor. I had a tutoring
Okay.
company. And then when I finished my doctorate
Wow.
and I was working at a school, and then there were some changes that were made in my contract and duties and responsibilities, then I said it's time for me to go out onto into private practice. And so that's what I did September 1st, 2005. I opened the doors to the greatest counseling and consulting, and I sat and waited for phone calls. And literally 8 days later, I received my first phone call, which was a contract with another school district. And that's what I ended up doing. And from there, it was just steady building, working with children as young as 5 to all the way through 12th grade. And then I moved into leadership coaching and executive leadership coaching nationwide. And so I have been doing both of those, like I said, now since and been in private practice since 2005. Um, so what are we going on? 19 years now? I can't even believe it. And so that's where that was born. Now, in the midst of that, I have my books, and I said, you know what? I need to start my publishing company. And so that's what I did. And I created Planner's
Mm.
Knowledge Publishing Company. And the adventures of Froggy T and Bunny, there's products. So there's mugs and cups and blankets. And so I said, I need to create a company around that. And so there's Froggy T and Bunny LLC. And now, in the midst of all of that, my father was diagnosed with cancer. He became very ill and he made his transition. And he was the owner of Green Street Animal Clinic. He was one of the first 3 Black veterinarians in the state of Pennsylvania. And he had been in private practice for 41 years.
Mm.
And so when he made his transition, it became the question of, do
Very impressive.
I let the business go, or do I transition it into something else? And so my younger brother, myself, and my husband took over the business. We turned it into Green Street Animal Care. So we are a care center for animals. And I went back and became a certified dog groomer. I do not groom, but I can. And then we chose to specialize we chose to specialize in boarding and daycare, and we have a visiting veterinarian that comes twice a month to do wellness checks and vaccinations. So I do a whole lot of different things while also being the primary caretaker for my mother who needs attention 24/7.
If there was, I, I'm speechless. If there was any other more for us to be impressed by you, it's kind of mind-boggling too. As much as you got going on, that you're
Yes,
able to keep your sanity, but
yes,
it's
yes,
just impressive.
yes. And
Just
I
your
didn't
your
even mention
accomplishments.
I also, so my husband has a multimedia business, and I am the lead actress in his web series, Kadaga. So after we do this interview today, I'll actually be filming some scenes for that web series. And then I also got a call to be in another movie. So later on tonight, I'll be filming 2 scenes for that movie also. So there we go.
Wow, unbelievable. You definitely will have to be probably one of the most accomplished guests that I ever had on this segment. Wow, you definitely have a lot of going on, but it's
Good,
definitely inspiring.
good,
Just
good.
able to manage all that, manage family time.
Yes.
And at the same
Really
time,
important.
you just going out there, reaching for the stars,
Yes.
uh, reaching for your goals.
Yes.
And it's just great to hear it.
Yeah.
We I think in this time of age where everything that's going on in society right now, we just need these type of stories of enlightenment and positivity,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
just to let hopefully the audience can appreciate from this interview that no matter what your circumstances are, because obviously you went through some calamity
Yeah.
with yourself,
Yeah. Yep.
with your father. So
Yes.
just the fact that you're able to overcome these things and these obstacles, because I'm pretty sure you also had your own obstacles to
A
overcome
whole
and
lot.
just trying to establish your businesses
Yeah,
and just
honey.
going about trying to be an author and trying to do
Yes.
these different things.
Yes. Baby, that's a whole nother show.
So
Yes.
with that involved, just to feel like, yeah, I figured that much. I can definitely give you some stories too. But it's just great and refreshing just to hear from people that, especially for yourself, that you're able to
Mhm.
overcome them,
Mhm.
and you stayed on course.
Yes.
Nothing
Yes.
deviated you, excuse me,
Yes.
from accomplishing what you wanted to accomplish. So
That's right.
definitely kudos to you, to
Thank
your
you.
husband, to your family.
Thank you.
Um, much blessings to you
Thank
guys.
you.
So refreshing, also to elaborate more, what's refreshing is to see someone that created this epicenter for
That's it.
mentoring and
Mhm.
creating and composing this environment for individuals to express themselves freely through your business, through your books. You're
Mhm.
promoting this positivity, like we were mentioning,
Yeah.
and then just assisting ones in developing these skills that are crucial to put them in the right status, both mentally and emotionally.
That's right.
As we were talking earlier, finding that inner peace.
Yeah.
So, how important was you to create such a platform, and how has your results been thus far?
Yeah, I read one time a long time ago, and I wish I could remember the author. I think it was Patricia Coates or something, but I can't remember. But she said it's not that there's more hate than love in the world. It's just that hate is doing a better job. And when she said that, I was like,
Wow.
I'm on team love every day, all day, right?
mm,
And so
mm,
if it just takes
mm,
a little bit of love to inspire people, it takes in the Christian Bible, it talks about mustard seed faith. And if you've ever seen a mustard seed, it is so tiny. And they say that it grows into this huge tree. So, right, we only need a little bit. So, if I can come along like a fairy godmother and sprinkle some hope in people's life,
mm,
knowing that just a little bit of hope, right, can just breed so much and it can touch other people's lives. I've seen it over and over and over again. And that's what I choose to be. I choose to be a vessel of hope. I choose to be a vessel of love. And I'm not saying sometimes I don't get tested, but I am aware of my
mm,
energy and that I have power and dominion over it. So I control and I tell my energy what I want it to do. And what I want it to do is I want it to have a positive and loving impact on everyone that I meet. Whenever someone sees me, hears me, senses me, I want them to feel hope. I want them to feel love, and I want them to feel inspired. So I want them to know that God exists and God is real. That's what I want. And that's the way that I move through the world every day.
and that's beautiful. And I'm in the same mind frame as well. Just it's just enough negativity in the world. So for the people that's close to you, people that you love and care for.
Hmm.
Um, I'm all about it too, just spreading the love, trying to
Yep.
help people, help individuals, put them in the best position. There is more happiness in giving than receiving.
Yep.
So even if
Yep.
you personally don't see the blessings, just the fact that maybe you help someone else achieve their
Hmm.
goals and maybe they get their blessings as well, you should
That's right.
find comfort in that.
Yes,
That the fact that you are able to put somebody in the position where they can be successful
that's
and
right.
bring some positivity to their world.
That's right. And earlier when I
So
had said to you that I went back to school and became a certified dog groomer, I also took someone to school with me who was a barber. And
wow.
so they had hands, right? They know how to cut and they had been grooming their own dogs. And so that
Hmm.
person was our barber, was our groomer for 5 years. And I'm happy to say that they've now opened their own grooming business. All right. So passing that
Oh,
on.
that's
My goal,
beautiful.
right? My goal was never to be a groomer. Like I said, I know how to do it, but that's not how I'm supposed to spend my time. However, this person is truly gifted in in that area. And so now may they go forth and prosper in that.
Definitely. I think the overall theme or arc with this interview is pass it forward.
Yes,
A blessing's been given to you, definitely pass them forward to someone else. If you have some knowledge, some insight on some things that could definitely help other people, share it. Don't
yes,
hold it within yourself.
exactly.
It's just a beautiful thing when you see people around you are just being successful and they're doing the things
That's
they
right.
love,
That's
the
right.
things they're passionate about, and it's all about love and positivity. I'm
Yes.
with it.
Yeah. Zeus, look, take a look at this.
So, Miss
If we
Walls,
were, if when you're
right?
passing a field, are you excited to
Mm-hmm.
see one rose in that field? Or is it more exciting to see a field of roses or a field of flowers with various colors, right?
Most
Is it,
definitely, all the colors, variety.
that's
That's the
right.
beauty of it.
That's right.
Like that's what we were just talking too about with the team building.
Yes,
A lot of times people have this singular mentality that yes, I could put it on my shoulders and I could do it myself. But you're so much more powerful if you work in a team setting.
that's
And
right.
then if you could kind of let go of your ego just a little bit and
Hmm.
just kind of let everybody come in and conform. They bring their ideas, their thoughts, their perspective on things. I mean, you're just more stronger as a person
Yeah.
because let's be real, everybody has skills or strengths, but they also have limitations.
Hmm.
So I think that all goes back to just being honest with yourself. It
Yes.
doesn't make you less of a person because you have
No.
weaknesses or limitations. Because the
Hmm.
beauty of life is you can make them weaknesses into strengths.
That's right.
And a lot of times you can make them into strengths. Again, if you let go of the ego, you work within a team, you work with other people, they can build you up.
Yes.
And in the process, you're building them up. Because
That's
whatever
right.
they're lacking, you could come
You
in and
got,
help them with that as well. So,
that's it.
so that's
I
what I'm all
agree.
about. Just positivity, man.
Yeah.
It's, it, it's easy to kind of get into the negativity and let it consume
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
I know it's hard to kind of
Hmm.
just stay positive each and every day.
Yeah.
But man, I don't want to stay mad and just be just bitter toward everything. Things happen.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of life. It gives you time to redeem yourself and
That's right.
find a new path in life.
That's right. That's right.
So, Miss Walls, we're gonna go ahead and round out this interview. You've been inspiring this whole time.
Good.
Um, so we definitely want just a few more words of encouragement and wisdom from you.
Hmm.
So, what advice would you give for those individuals who are trying to make their aspirations
Hmm.
into a way of life?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So do it. That's the first thing, right? We're gonna bite off a Nike here. Just do it, and know that you bring value, right? It's so important. And you were saying it earlier. Everybody has strengths.
Mm,
Everyone is bringing something to the table, right? Even if we think about Thanksgiving, I need somebody to bring me that fork. I need somebody to bring me that napkin. So everybody's bringing something, whatever it is that you're bringing. If you're bringing a listening ear, my career has been listening. I listen to people. That's a valued skill. All right. So, whatever it is that
Mhm.
you have inside of you that you are ready to share with the world, we're waiting, and continue to develop it and hone it. And it's not ever too late. It's not ever too late. So if you are 60 plus, 70 plus, 80 plus, and you're listening to this and you still want to sing, you still want to do it, do it. All right, do it. It is inside of you. It is the desire of your heart. As long as you ain't hurting nobody, go on and be all that you were created to be. My
Mhm.
motto is live your greatest life. Take time and think about what does that look like for you? If this is your greatest life, what would it consist of? Dream big. Dream big. In the Bible, Ephesians 3, verse 20 says that God does it better than you could ever dare to dream, think, or imagine. So, my thing is if I dream, think, and imagine big, and God is going to do it greater than me, I'm good. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It's going to be as good as I can think of, and I'm already thinking big. So, I encourage you to dream big and just trust and know that it will
Again, took the words right out of my mouth. I couldn't say it any better. Um, Definitely just aim. You know, a lot of times the old saying goes, "Sky's the limit." Why does the sky have to be your limit? Why can't you go beyond that? You know, so limitations, like we were just talking about, just being honest with yourself or what you're actually capable to do, and how
Yes,
you can turn that into strengths. But the
yes,
overall arc of just creating goals for yourself and objectives
yes,
on things that you're trying to accomplish, no, there shouldn't be a limit to it. You know, you should just whatever how you feel. Obviously,
yes,
be logical in your approach. Come up with a plan. You definitely don't want
yes,
to just go into something head on and just make it more emotional. You need to find that
yes,
balance between logical and emotional. But other than that,
exactly.
I agree with you. Dream big.
Hmm.
Don't hold yourself back. Don't let anyone
Right.
tell you that you're not able to do it. Usually,
That's
the
right.
people that is telling you that are the ones that really don't got nothing going on with themselves in their life.
Exactly.
So misery loves company.
That's right.
So don't allow that negativity to permeate in you.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So Miss
I,
Walls,
yes.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say misery loves
No, I
company, and I
just
ain't interested in misery, so I definitely don't want no company if
right.
that's the case. Right. I'm cool by myself. If I had to be by myself,
I mean, you can stay home for that.
exactly.
You can stay home for that. I ain't trying to hear
Exactly.
that either. So, Miss Wells, I am definitely honored and privileged that you had this interview with me. Um, it was definitely nice. Just I know I was encouraged. Hopefully, people who view this video will be encouraged as well. Definitely much blessings to you and your
Thank
family.
you.
I know you
Thank
got a
you.
lot going on. Um, Definitely, I hope everything succeeds with you, and
Thank
you know
you.
your goals get accomplished, and much happiness to you and your family.
Thank
So I
you.
definitely want to thank
Same
you
to
again.
you.
Again, it was an
Yes.
honor for you to sit down with me. I know you're a busy person. I'm still trying to get over, you know, everything you just mentioned, man. You got a grocery list a mile and a half long. But it's definitely put a little pep in my step. Like I could do a couple extra things myself. But definitely, it was an honor and a privilege, man. I just appreciate you just taking time out of your schedule to sit
Thank
down with me
you.
and you know talk some things.
Thank you so much.
So for
I
you guys out
greatly
there that's checking out our video again, this was a oh thank you. The honor was mine. And again, for your viewers out there, we appreciate you tuning in. Yes, this is another segment of A Word with the World with Dr. Catherine Walls. Um, Definitely, we're going to link up hopefully in the future to work on some things and maybe even have
Mhm.
you on the show again. So for you
Yes.
guys out there checking the video out, we appreciate it. And we're going to check you later.
All right. Bye, y'all.